coastal economy. We know a lot of you at home have questions surrounding the economy and how the coronavirus is impacting it.
Yeah, so we brought in an expert to try to answer some of those questions for you this evening. Dr. April Knill is from the FSU School of Business, and she joins us now. And Dr. Knill, we see what's happening in the business world and the financial markets. Why is coronavirus having such a big impact right now?
Well, the coronavirus is impacting firms in a number of ways. We see it started back at the very end of January when their supply chain was disrupted. China businesses shut down to contain the virus over there. And then when the virus came here to the United States, then we have impacts here as well. You have firm productivity that can be impacted when employees are sick and they stay home. You have employees trying to do what's cautious and the right thing to do. They're telling people to stay home when they're sick. They're asking people to telecommute as their job function allows. And they're even curtailing non-essential business travel to contain the spread here in the United States. So that can impact firm productivity. And then we see impact on demand. I mean, you have governors that are declaring states of emergency. You have mayors that are banning large gatherings. You have, frankly, consumers afraid to go out. In some cases are told not to go out. For example, if you're over 65, you're actually encouraged by the CDC to stay home for the next few weeks. So that can actually impact consumers going out and spending, and that impacts businesses.
Dr. Knill, talk a little bit about businesses. They're going to have to get creative to kind of ride this wave for the next few weeks as people maybe stop traveling out to them. What are some of the things that they can do to kind of still make money and ride this thing out?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think the thing to remember is that there is an end date to this crisis. If you look to China, they're kind of on the other end. We saw President Xi actually visiting Wuhan, which was the epicenter of the virus, and that wouldn't happen if it weren't safe to do so. So, that's a couple of months down the road, but there is an end date to the crisis. So I think it's just best to try to, like you were saying, be creative and try to get those sales happening. A lot of businesses do, have sales that happen off of the internet. So it may not be completely negative picture, but in the end, they're just going to have to ride it out.
And what do you think is coming next in the next few weeks or months, and what should people keep in mind and do to prepare themselves from an economic standpoint?
So nobody has a crystal ball. A lot of economists right now are guessing that we're going to see a recession, but it's not time to panic. In the last 50 years, recessions have not necessarily been that long. We're looking at between 6 months and 18 months, and they need not be all that serious. They may not be as serious as the Great Recession was, for example. So, if we do move into a recession, keep in mind that our unemployment right now is at 3.5%. We have wiggle room. Full employment is unemployment equal to 5%. So people that lose jobs, if they lose their job, they can find another one probably in fairly short order. So it's not time to panic. And again, there is an end date to this crisis. So we'll have to weather the storm. It may be a bumpy ride for a little while, but we'll get through it.
Okay, we will definitely all get through it together.
Doesn't it make you feel better to have these folks in and
It
reassure
really
us
does, to give
that there's an end in sight?
Some perspective and context. Thank you so much, Dr. Knill, for coming in this afternoon. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Next at 5, the Red Cross is still trying